It's another beautiful day here on the banks of the Atlantic Ocean. We are in Daytona Beach, Florida for day 3 of the premier Major League Table Tennis weekend as the East Division action continues from inside the Ocean Center. Our doubleheader begins with the Princeton Revolution and the Carolina Gold Rush. Carolina dropped the golden game against Florida last night to fall out of first place. The Gold Rush in second place, tied in the win column with Chicago. Princeton improved on day 2, but still unable to get that golden game, and that has been the difference through the first couple days of competition. Revolution looking to get their first victory, and Florida looking for a 2-win weekend as we welcome you to our site here at the Ocean Center alongside the 2-time Olympian Sean O'Neill. I'm Evan Lepler. This is a Princeton team that really has played better than their record so far, but it's all about results, and they got to try to get one today against a Carolina team that's certainly not going to give it to them.
Carolina's playing super strong right now. I've got the 2 top players coming off the bat, my favorites with Anglais and Matthew Desantalon.
Let's talk about Anglais. He was the #1 pick in the draft, so expectations were massive coming into the season, and he's exceeded those expectations by just dominating in virtually every role. Singles, doubles, golden game. How has he done it?
I mean, he's just bringing everything to the match. His forehand is on fire. We've seen him just hit bomb after bomb. Super footwork, heavy intensity. He's just going for it to help the team.
And his opponent for the Princeton Revolution, Matthew Desantalon, who has split his 6 singles games so far. He's 3 up and 3 down in the singles department, and this will be a battle of Frenchmen here to get this match started.
And it's a classic defensive player. He likes to leave the table, changing up, playing far from the net, but he's got good offense as well. He can pull it at any time, pull the trigger. He actually is a defensive player that thinks offensively. When the shot's there, he will go for it.
To continue to battle against Anglais. So here we go. Day 3 of this historic first MLTT weekend. We thank you for joining us this afternoon, wherever you may be, at whatever point of latitude or longitude. And Anglais set to battle Matthew Desantalon. Desantalon serving in red. There was a white towel, I think, hanging over the barrier, and Enzo said no. We're going to see a contrast in styles.
We really will. Desantalon will leave the table, play a lot more defensive. Call it a chop off the table, up at the table. It's a push stroke, but it's to put underspin on the ball, cause a little bit of confusion. Enzo Anglais, big forehand.
1-1.
Enzo has not really come out wanting to work too many points. He's capable of that, but he has come out with a mentality of attacking aggressively and putting his opponent on his heels.
Best time to make a big attack against a defensive player or choppers when they're close to the table, less reaction time. So look for Anglais to go for a lot of third ball attacks directly off of his serve. Very strong play.
1-3.
Enzo Anglais, 28 years old, from France. That was interesting, Sean. Anglais was forced to play a little bit of defense there, but he changed the tie to the point.
Yeah, and he's showing how much touch he has. When he left the table, he just kept it nice and easy. Didn't give Desantalon much to work with.
Just too much.
Such fast racket speed. He just snaps that forehand. Very difficult for the defensive player to even track where he's going. There's a control loop, and then right at the last second takes it down the line.
Anglais defeated Anglais in 3 straight games by a combined score of 33-14 here on Friday night. And he took 3 in a row from Florida's Mark Duran. Combined score 33-17. That's the kind of buzzsaw he's been.
He's been on fire and in the doubles as well. He's shown his skill both in singles and doubles.
Unbelievable.
Just tremendous placement by Anglais, just moving the ball around, going out to the forehand, then wide to the backhand.
Just repeatedly with that inside out forehand, and then took it the other way across court. A little bit too much on that loop, so Desantalon trying to maintain contact with Anglais here in the opening game. Remember, it's a game to 11, not win by 2, straight to 11.
And there's the counterattack by Desantalon. Anytime he gets a higher loop, look for him to want to jump in.
This is your first day joining us. There are 4 singles matches and 1 doubles match. 3 games per match.
That ball clipped the edge.
So that's 15 points available in the singles and the doubles, all leading into the golden game, which caps the match from a team standpoint.
So measured, Anglais, with those control, slow spins until he gets the ball that he wants, and then he just takes it right downtown, just ripping the ball.
What would you say to your students about the way Anglais handles the spin from Desantalon?
He has great reads, and he's always staying close to the table, so he's able to drive it in case it is a little bit high. He's just a great player. I mean, there's no two ways about that. Knows what he's doing, plays well against all styles of play.
So you're saying no matter how long I watch Enzo and study him, I won't be able to play like him?
Most likely not, but Desantalon has a much more fun game where he leaves the table, changes his spin, plays some offense, plays some defense. But right now it's been all Anglais for the Carolina Gold Rush. Great counterattack there by Desantalon. He loves to counterattack with the forehand from the backcourt, but we have seen him play some amazing backhands in the last 2 days.
One more serve here for Enzo, trying to earn a game point. And that's one way to earn a game point.
And just perfect precision, playing that forehand from the backhand corner out wide, and then taking the next ball right down the line.
Desantalon stays alive. The mutual opponent for these 2 players in singles was Dan Liu. Enzo took 3 straight from Dan. Desantalon took 2 out of 3 games from Dan yesterday. And Desantalon rips the backhand.
That came out of nowhere. I don't think Anglais expected that, but just right from the backhand corner, cross court for the winner. Excellent surprise attack.
Another game point. And it missed the side of the table. So it's 3 in a row for Desantalon. He's locked his way back.
And being a lot more aggressive towards the end of this game. That last push very deep with spin.
I think it's a good tactical change. And Anglais continues his reign atop Major League Table Tennis. He's now 7-0 in singles games, and he prevails 11-9 after Desantalon put a little scare in him late in that first game.
A nice late game surge by Desantalon, and he wishes he could have had this forehand back. He set it up. The shot was there. Got the loop.
Welcome. Good shirt. It looks very cool on you. Really enhances the eyes.
went down the line. Excellent play there earlier on in game one.
Not every day that it's in Daytona Beach, so make sure that you
I
get a
feel
piece
like
of
I
the
know the
action
answer,
and
but I'm
take
going to
with
ask
you.
it
And
anyway.
years from now, who knows? These seats, it could be LeBron James sitting
Why
here, Jack Nicholson, depending on how
do you
many
think
years.
Desantalon should be
But I
more
will say
aggressive
that if you had the
and
first
not
ever
abandon
major
his
table
chopping
tennis shirt,
defensive
if you could say
style,
that you were the first
but
weekend,
try and surprise Enzo a little bit more often because he won points that way?
That's exactly what Coach Hazin is saying to him. Look for the attack early and don't go back so quickly in the rally because Enzo's angles are so wide as a lefty. It's very tough as a chopper to keep that ball down.
The flip side of that, though, is perhaps Desantalon knows he can't beat Enzo at his own game.
Right, going pure speed
Game
to
two.
pure speed,
Gold
going
Rush to
full
serve.
offense. He's got one side of his
0-0.
racket with the long pitch, which allows him to control the attack, so he's going to be somewhat limited, although you will see him twiddling the racket between shots.
How about that point? Matthew Desantalon worked it beautifully.
So patient, didn't bite at some of the softer attacks, but then got his final loop going. Start this game too on a positive note. That ball is so spinny. It looks like there's not much on it, but it's the spin that Enzo gave him. It comes right back off the backhand side. Heavy chop. See, as he goes to lift it, barely reaches the net.
That's 6 of the last 7 points for Desantalon. 7 of the last 8.
He's taking your advice,
0.
getting that forehand going. Nothing's more frustrating when a defensive player starts putting the offense on you. You're just trying to stay in the rallies.
Net.
In
3-0.
case folks are wondering, I'm not available to be your coach just quite yet, but maybe in a couple weeks. Anglais
1-3.
raises the stakes there.
I just love when he steps around his backhand and moves that forehand attack to both corners. So nimble.
Now 8 of the last 10 points for Desantalon after he trailed 10-6 in the first game.
And this is the most frustrated we've seen Anglais so far, but great play by Desantalon to get that offense going.
For a player like Enzo, I mean, we haven't really seen him play from behind. How does the mindset shift when you're down 4-1, especially when you've used to being up 4-1?
Yeah, I think because he's playing a defensive player, he knows just take your time. You really can't afford to rush because the spin is changing so dramatically. So as a pro, as the #1 draft pick, you can see he's just fighting for every point. He knows that when Desantalon is on the offense, that's not his preferred game. But he does have strong forehand and backhand attacks. Look at that, just powerful, but that second loop couldn't make it over.
On his heels, but good defense even on the back of his feet.
Net 4-3.
Great serve there,
5.
heavy underspin. We saw in that previous game that if you push to Desantalon's backhand, he can hit it for a winner.
Net 3-5.
Tremendous table tennis.
Great point. Great rally by both players. Final shot, Desantalon couldn't really get close enough for that heavy side spin ball. He tried to counterattack it with his backhand, just out of reach.
And after trailing 4-1, he's scored for the last 5 points to tie it 5-all. What would this mean for Princeton? Maybe you can answer after the point. If Desantalon could get a point or
with your
two.
hands, with your fingers. Try not to. 5-5.
The umpire was saying, don't touch the table with your fingers.
Usually the players. Nice shot there. Nice counterattack by Desantalon. Players often will go up and touch right near the net just to get any perspiration, because that's where the ball generally doesn't hit.
Fault. 6-6.
Service error there from Desantalon.
Sometimes that happens because the server is more concerned about the return as they start getting ready in case they served it long by mistake. And the serve just gets away from you. But right now,
6-6.
Enzo Anglais. Anglais with the serve.
Well, on the offensive quickly, Anglais takes his first lead here in game number 2. After falling behind 4-1. He's in front 7-6 with one more serve and a timeout taken by Matthias Hazin, the head coach of the Princeton Revolution.
60 seconds of conversation. It's quite interesting here. Matthew Desantalon leading majority of this game. And now
Again, we've seen
Desantalon
Desantalon work for his forehand.
anything you're curious about, whether
He's really been effective by changing the spin, moving it up, but Enzo with the strong forehand attacks, especially that forehand hook into the wide backhand. It's very difficult to bring this ball up.
I really want to make sure that you come back every time, and when you watch.
Take us in the mind of a player when they're so far from the table. What are you trying to do with that shot when you know you're leaving yourself exposed?
Keeping it as deep as possible so the angles get a little bit more manageable, changing the spin, either loading it up with the heaviest amount of spin so when they do loop it up you can bring yourself in, or go for a no spin and hope they overhit. So you're constantly thinking, what can I do to force a mistake?
Matthew Desantalon, here we go.
Do you ever want to try and hit it high in the air to lob it back?
It's just so tough to run those down and the angles get so big, especially if it's a short lob. The deep lobs, you can kind of force them off the table, but generally a chopper will want to keep underspin on the ball. That was a good chop right there.
7.
Anyone who's familiar with table tennis knows this, but it's something that I learned. I've always played in my friend's basement where you are allowed to volley. You could hit the ball before it hits the table, but you can't do that at the biggest level.
Correct.
8,
Right now,
it's a big part of my game.
All the tennis players like to volley. Even I guess the pickleballers will do that as long as they're not in the kitchen, right?
Now you understand me. Big points for Matthew. And he's up 9-7.
What a great timeout by the Princeton Revolution to just right this ship. To give Matthew Desantalon the lead once again.
2 serves for Anglais, down 2.
8,
That was an
9.
easy mistake there.
Next. 8, 9.
For the first time all weekend, Enzo Anglais is facing a game point.
And this is huge for Princeton. This was one of those matches where they might have even been putting one of their lower players up against the strongest one, thinking, well, probably going to lose 3 here. Might get swept, but right now.
Anglais fights off
9.
1 game point.
Anglais really taking his time. He had the opponent back, but he stays close to the table, keeps those loops going, moves him around, eventually gets the errant play by Matthew Desantalon.
This has been one heck of a match so far.
Next.
Gillette.
10, 9.
Anglais 11-9 in game 1.
Just trying to keep his racket clean without any perspiration on it.
Net.
A lot of net serves we've seen this game. Really wants to keep it short and low.
Small margins. And that'll do it. Desantalon defeats Anglais. And we are even at 1 game apiece here in the first singles match between Princeton and Carolina.
Desantalon just staying with it, loading up the backhands, presenting a wall defense. Anglais unable to drive that final ball through him.
What a wacky game. Desantalon goes in front 4-1, and then Anglais takes a 7-6 lead. Hazin calls the timeout, and from down 7-6, he goes on a 5-2 spurt to finish off the #1 player in the league.
And just keeps getting that ball back, changing the spin, making it something where Anglais really has to guess. And now game 3, a huge opportunity for the Revolution to pull the upset here in match #1.
There's just something about Desantalon's style. He's just steady. You know, he doesn't have the electricity that Anglais brings, but my goodness, he's a fierce competitor. We've seen that all weekend long.
Time.
He knows the critical nature of this first match to set the tone. And what a great timeout the Revolution called.
Game 3.
His teammates
Revolution
rising
to serve.
euphorically
0-0.
after Desantalon finished it off. And I mean, this would be just absolutely gargantuan for the Revolution. If they could somehow get 2 out of 3 in this matchup. And you look at the big picture for what we've got coming up, Sean. And we haven't told you the full lineup of the day, but Kai Zhang, who's been one of the top singles players, is inactive today for Carolina.
There's the backhand. Oh, and a great counterattack there from the backcourt by Anglais.
And in the golden game between Florida and Carolina last night, where Carolina suffered its first loss, it really felt like Florida's depth outshined Carolina's, and you wonder how will Carolina's depth fare today beyond Anglais and Lawrence.
Oh, that was a great step around. It looked like he might take it inside out cross court, but he went down the line. Desantalon is really mixing it up both on the defensive and on the offensive fronts.
Anglais gets a new ball. This has been a mesmerizing match to get this Sunday started.
You can see the smile on Enzo's face. So happy to win that point. Just back and forth, both players showing extreme control. Look at these angles.
Some of the best rallies of the weekend have been between these two guys here today. When Desantalon goes on offense, he really goes on offense, doesn't he?
You know, it's funny, I was talking to him this morning at breakfast, and I said, are you thinking as a chopper? And he's like, no, I like offense quite a bit. And he's showing it right now. That ability to step around, and then, oh, okay, that's a little bit too much there. But he definitely likes to go for it. Even sometimes when he's serving, he'll serve deep out, hoping to get a soft return so he can throw in a backhand loop.
Impressed by his quickness that point, getting from one side of the table to cover the other.
He definitely covers the court extremely well. Enzo Anglais loves to play close to the table.
Play.
3-all here in the rubber game.
Net. 3-3.
Between two of the top players for their respective teams.
That's a heavy top spin by Anglais. A lot of times for the choppers, when they get that super heavy topspin, they'll be forced to lift it up instead of chop it because it's dropping so fast, they can't chop down on it.
Too much power there from Anglais.
Just explosive. Anglais, when he steps around his backhand, it is so tough
Which side?
to determine which direction he's going. This time he took it into the backhand court. Excellent speed on that shot.
And he's developed that deception throughout his career. Desantalon hanging around, back within one.
So when Anglais spins up that first ball, he wants to give himself some margin, but those are the shots that Desantalon likes to counterattack. The high opening loops.
Oh my goodness.
6-4.
Desantalon comes up nothing but air.
Let's play.
They just overstepped it a little bit, and you can see the look on Anglais' face. It's like, I dodged a bullet right there. Key point in this match.
Anglais
7-4.
getting a little more separation. In front 7-4. Remember, he had a 10-6 lead in game one before Desantalon scored 3 straight prior to Anglais closing it out. Heavy hitting.
4-8.
It just doesn't get any better when you have a defensive player who's able to counterattack from the backcourt, forehand to forehand.
Revolution, yellow card.
So Revolution, Desantalon got a yellow card for tossing his paddle on the table in a little bit of frustration. These umpires are calling it really tight.
4-8.
We saw that have an impact last night with Enzo Anglais. He got a yellow, which became the second yellow, and a red, and it cost him a point in the Golden game.
And because this is a team event, that card continues forward. So if another yellow card comes, that's a point.
4-9.
So you don't want to do that to your teammates. They might not be aware because they didn't cause it as it would be in singles. Now a lot of frustration.
Slew of game points coming up here for Anglais to take 2 out of 3 for Carolina. What a way to finish it. Anglais puts it away
Gold Rush.
with a slam to take 2 out of 3 from Desantalon.
Made him pay a little bit of running work there on this last point, but Anglais once again showing how strong he is, beating a very experienced and player moving all over the entire table. Here we see some earlier action, just the extreme angles
I'll tell you some rules about yellow cards and red cards.
that both these players were covering. That was a big swing there by Desantalon.
One player gets a yellow card.
Well, it's becoming routine to chat with Enzo Anglais after a win in singles, but not a sweep this time. Enzo, how did Matthew make life difficult for you, and how did you ultimately take 2 out of 3?
I knew that at the beginning of the game would be very difficult, very tough game, because I played already against him in France, and the last time I actually lost 4-0, right? So this time I knew I could of course win. 3-0 I was hoping, but it was a difficult game, of course. And the thing against defender is that even if you start hard, you start strong. As they are defender, they get used to make the opponent tired. So that's a little bit what happened. And also in the second set I wanted to put too much power, which I could not put really that much power as the first one. And after I took just a bit more my time and gave him some more balls to bring the right ball to attack after. So I brought much more variation, so that's why I had more time.
Were you very surprised with how strong his backhand was? Seemed like his attacks on forehands were very strong, but backhand, is that something you've seen before in your other matches with him?
Yeah, that's the kind of trap, you know, because at least most of the time he does it when he's back, so in the score. So it's always surprising, and we don't really know when it can come. So it can come at the end of the set, it can come, mostly it come at the end of the set, but it can come at any time.
What were the big takeaways after last night's battle against Florida? A really intense match. You lose the Golden Game. Quick turnaround to a 1 p.m. Eastern time start today. How did your team get ready for today's match?
No, we have no choice, and I mean, also we have fun, you know. So yesterday we lost, but that's part of the game, you know. Is a team, is the golden set. Everything can happen, and actually I don't think we really lost, even in the score we lost, but they won because Gorak was unbelievably strong yesterday against Romain, because Romain didn't do a bad game, a bad golden set. Gorak was really great, and no, that's the game. It's team match, and if we win together and we lose together.
We appreciate your perspective, Enzo. We'll see you in the Golden Game a little bit later today.
Yeah, I hope it's run better.
Indeed, Enzo Anglais now 8-1 in 9 singles games for the Carolina Gold Rush. And his doubles partner from day one, Bastien Dupont, takes the table against Yevgen Prashepa, who was mighty impressive in his MLTT debut yesterday, taking 2 out of 3 from Damian Provost of Chicago. Here we go. And Prashepa helps to create the error and takes a 1-0 lead. The Ukrainian Prashepa, 38 years old. Bastien Dupont, 15 years his junior. He's 23, from France. Good point there for Bastien Dupont, who was inactive yesterday after playing doubles and in the Golden Game, obviously, on Friday night.
Of course, the Prashepa was playing in the European Championships in Malmö, Sweden. Had to take a late flight to get here. Performed exceptionally well in his first match, taking the first 2 games.
Did not look jet lagged one bit. Earlier match today, which theoretically is a good thing for Yevgen. Dupont, 3-1 lead. When you saw this matchup on paper, Dupont and Prashepa, what were the main thoughts you had?
It's youth versus experience. Prashepa is a very tactical player. He likes to play his strengths into the opponent's weakness, stays close to the table. And we saw in the doubles, Dupont willing to go for the big shots. Throws caution to the wind. Clearly playing as a teammate of Enzo Anglais will definitely help him.
3-0.
Net. 3-3.
And again, Prashepa just holding the table there. A lot of offense from Dupont. But Prashepa not giving an inch, keeping the pressure on. Seemed like a simple shot on the forehand, but to be able to cover that and add a little bit of pace, Prashepa did an excellent job blocking with the backhand and then staying close to the table on the forehand. Did not give Dupont enough time to take a backswing.
Five straight points for the Ukrainian, and Prashepa has opened up a 6-3 lead.
Just controlling the table right now. And even letting Dupont make the first attack, but then moving the ball all over the court. And there's a good serve there by Dupont. Handcuffed him there, short to the middle.
Did Dupont get new glasses just to match his jersey?
Very possibly.
You think look good, play good, but Prashepa doesn't look too bad either.
He had a very strong ball played into his middle, and he just turned on it Got the forehand, great follow through.
5-7.
An important point. If someone takes that 3-point lead, you're go up 4, it feels massive compared to 2.
Anytime you can stop that separation, especially with the 2-point serve, you can get those right back. Nice service there, a little bit longer. Prashepa in between playing a safe ball and trying to go on offense. Not a bad tactic to mix it up.
Net.
Same thing, going
6-7.
slightly longer on the serve. That Prashepa has to go into offensive mode. You can see Dupont.
7.
Just stepping around and staying on the offense. Prashepa has such a nice backhand. Not only is he blocking the ball to keep pressure on his opponent, he's adding a lot of spin.
It's a big come on from Dupont again as he's retaking the lead.
The youngster.
From up 3-1 to down 6-3, and now he leads 8-7. Seesaw affair between these two players in second singles.
There's the backhand.
8.
So solid by Prashepa.
What's going through the players' minds right now, Sean? We're at 8-8. We've had multiple swings, tactical adjustments already. What's going to decide this thing?
They just want to get the first attack in if possible. Both of them have so much firepower, but they don't want to have to deal with blocks. They want to get that forehand going, and that was a great
9,
play by
8.
Dupont right there.
To your point, the block sailed too far.
It's so tough when somebody's, be like in tennis, in a serve and volley, and you got a guy at the net, you might be able to touch it, but you can't do much with it.
Serve for Dupont. And he now takes a 10-8 lead.
10.
Game points for the Gold Rush. Prashepa will serve twice.
Great opportunity to get his forehand in and just to force the offense.
I should say Prashepa has 2 serves here, but he's not going to serve twice if he doesn't win this next point. Game point. Bastien Dupont
11-8.
comes
Game
from
one,
6-3 down. An 8-2 run to close out game 1 against Yevgen Prashepa.
And you can see him running back and getting support from his coach, Coach Yang of the California or Carolina Gold Rush. Just trying to right the ship after last night.
You think what it means for this guy. That's his first ever singles match in Major League Table Tennis. Obviously, aside from the Golden game he played on Friday, but he was playing doubles on Friday in the lineup for singles today and getting the job done.
I mean, taking the correct risks, going for his forehand as often as possible. Prashepa really controlling that first game until the latter half. A good backhand play by Prashepa, moving it around, but credit Dupont for getting his forehand into play when it mattered most.
Talk to me about your new shirt. Yes, I became a fan of not in my team. Hardcore, I see it. I love it. Head to toe, you got the Gold Rush tattoo.
You can't fake the passion that we are seeing here today. I mean, you could, but it would not be as convincing as what we are seeing. These games, these results, what these moments mean to these athletes in the first ever professional table tennis showcase in North America.
And I think it all comes down to their willingness and support in the team concept. They don't want to let their teammates down.
Game 2.
0-1.
Strikes first.
He wants to set the tone with that opening backhand loop. If he can consistently loop first, he can take that forehand weapon away from Dupont.
Net.
Do you think
0-1.
Prashepa feels he let that first game slip away?
Yeah, he had the momentum. He was controlling the table. But again, Bastien Dupont just got his forehand going.
1.
Served a
1.
little bit deeper to open up the points. And they're playing really tight, advantage to Prashepa.
Big hitting.
2.
Prashepa in front 2-1.
Just very clean on those attacks. Nothing crazy, not taking a high risk, just getting into position and keeping a sustained attack going. That's a great placement there by Dupont. Really handcuffed Prashepa on that last backhand block.
Two all.
Net. 2-2.
What a point. Outrageous defense from Dupont, and finally Prashepa finishes it off the edge of the table. Smiles from both players after that one.
That was the happiest we've seen Prashepa in his short time here in Daytona Beach. He liked that forehand loop for the winner. That was a great backhand loop after a good setup on the forehand side. Got both feet off the ground. Excellent attack. Dupont playing a lot more balls out to the forehand side. Just wants to get Prashepa out of his backhand corner where his block has been so strong. Not afraid to go forehand to forehand with Prashepa.
Five, three.
Went for it. You can see the youthful exuberance on his face after missing that one. He definitely set it up and had that shot lined up and then just overplayed it a little bit.
5-5.
No separation here in game two. Dupont with a strong return there to the forehand side.
Just Prashepa's backhand controls the rally, especially when he's looping that first ball. Makes Dupont become a blocker. Oh, great play off of the serve that went a little too long. Dupont just jumping on the two serves of Prashepa. Now he'll have his own serve too. Possibly go for a sweep here.
Big forehand from Dupont. He scored the last 3 points. Closed game one on an 8-2 spurt after he trailed 6-3. Trying to pull away here and take the first 2 games from the Ukrainian. Frustration.
He wanted to go inside out. He's been going down the line with his forehand, going to the backhand, a little more table, but it caught the top of the net. He'd like to have that one back on his paddle.
Thought he had it.
And there's the strong backhand by Prashepa.
And look, Dupont knows if he makes that shot, he's up 9-5 instead. Very quickly later, it's 8-7, and Carolina's going to take a timeout here. Alex Yang is going to talk to Bastien Dupont, the 23-year-old.
But only 2 can be used before the golden game.
Alex just reminding him, you've got to be aware of the angles. If he lets that first backhand come over from Prashepa, he's going to be pinned in his backhand corner. Get it out to the forehand, has a little bit more opportunity to keep that forehand going. And Prashepa using the entire table surface, including the edge.
The reactions from the Gold Rush players.
That might be a good time for a timeout. Coaches will be watching their players, trying to recognize when they need it. So there will be a few.
Time.
shot off the edge is more disbelief from one side than exaltation from the other.
7-8.
7 here in game 2. Prashepa with one serve to try and tie this thing up. 8-all.
That backhand by Prashepa is just so deep. Dupont not enough speed to step around to get his forehand in, just jammed.
Oh, Dupont with a resounding forehand smash.
Going for the winner directly off of it was a nice opening by Prashepa, but Dupont told himself before that ball had come over the net he was going to go for the re-loop off the bounce.
Missile. And now a 10-8 lead.
10.
Couple game points on Prashepa's serve for Bastien Dupont.
Very tough to know what serve to do. It's got to be short, because otherwise Bastien Dupont will go after it.
That'll do it for game 2. As Bastien Dupont wins 11-8 for the second game in a row. So far, Sean, youth has been superior to experience.
And Bastien just going after it, forcing his forehand into play, both stepping around his backhand and then also getting into these forehand-to-forehand counterattacks. Prashepa, you see here with Coach Hazin, not too pleased with how this game has transpired. Earlier points in the first 2 games.
How about you? Okay, we got Reagan over here, so I think there's a lot of name connection going on. What's your history?
Players staying extremely close to the table. And Prashepa's had kind of the tactical upper hand of Dupont with the speed, going for broke. That big one forehand that we saw him take off the bounce really seemed to be the difference.
That's okay, we'll get them back into it. They were waiting for MLTT to start. They needed some inspiration, and this is what will ignite.
There's that forehand. Huge point to go up 9-8.
None of these guys play like we do. That's why they're so fun to watch. All right, game number
Big win
3.
for Dupont.
Let's hear it.
And now we'll see what Prashepa's made of. Prashepa
Game 3.
won the
Gold
first
rush
2
to
games
serve.
against Provost yesterday.
0-0.
He's in the exact opposite position today, losing the first 2 games
Your serve.
to Dupont.
That's a
0-1.
good indication of what Prashepa is thinking. He's leaving that backhand controlled attack and stepping around, getting his forehand into play.
A determined look on his face and an inspired start to game 3 for Yevgen Prashepa. Three 0.
3-0.
Good placement by Dupont there. Prashepa overplaying just a wee bit off the backhand corner.
Prashepa talking to himself.
It's not an easy ball to land when somebody opens up first. You always have to judge the amount of spin, and especially if there's a little bit of depth on it.
What do you mean when you say someone opens up first?
So that very first attack off of a serve return, if that ball comes off the end of the table, both players will try to put a heavy topspin. Boom, right there, and that's a net ball. Great touch by Prashepa, but it's going to be super play off the backcourt by Prashepa. He was in a very difficult position with Dupont having the forehands up at the table, just driving the ball, but he's mistimed it just a little bit.
4-2. 5-2.
5-2. Switch sides.
Players always will change ends. Get 5 points in the third game, both in singles and doubles.
5-2.
Oh, Prashepa
2-6.
with that brilliant backhand.
So perfect on the timing. Dupont just drilled it into his backhand, and Prashepa took it right off the bounce, right down the line for a winner. Net serve.
Net 2-6.
That's a great third ball attack there.
3-6.
Perfect location in between where a player plays a forehand and a backhand. Just handcuffs them, no real stroke possible.
Net
Net serve.
3-6.
Prashepa takes a moment, ready to receive.
Again, that backhand
7-3.
just penetrates the offense, takes it off the bounce. You see him go both down the line and cross court.
Prashepa with just a relentless assault extends his game 3 lead to 5.
And Prashepa is so safe when he gets the opponent back. He just takes his time, still adding a lot of power to the ball, which is very deliberate where he goes, keeping the opponent at bay. Again, we're in the same situation right again. Dupont's not going to win many points from the backcourt against Prashepa.
A strong response from Yevgen. Regardless, Bastien Dupont's got to feel pretty good about this effort, taking 2 out of 3 if that's what it turns out to be.
Absolutely. He will have check mark for a job well done, and that serve got away from him and got the very back edge of the table. Don't know how Prashepa was able to keep it on, but just saw there's Bastien Dupont saying sorry for the deep serve.
It was a half-hearted apology at best.
Net 4-9.
You're down 9-3. You don't need to be apologizing. That caught the edge of the table there.
4.
And now it's, oh no, they give that point to Prashepa. I thought that caught the edge.
Yeah, I think it clipped the top of the net, so the angle looked really like it got the white line.
11-4.
And that's game. Prashepa with a convincing performance in game number 3. However, Bastien Dupont, like Enzo Anglais before him, takes 2 out of 3 in the opening singles matchups and a 4-2 lead for Carolina after the first couple singles matchups, moving into doubles.
And we just saw Prashepa getting the job done, but unfortunately for him and his team, lost the first 2 games before he could right the ship of this match, but really credit Bastien Dupont being aggressive in games 1 and 2 and making that forehand land.
We are now joined by Bastien Dupont after taking 2 out of 3 over Yevgen Prashepa. Bastien, congrats on getting 2 wins there. What was it like going against Yevgen in your first singles opportunity here in Major League Table Tennis?
Yeah, thank you. I make a really good game. Really, I didn't expect to play like this, but I felt really good, moved really fast, and then my forehand was really good. So I'm really happy to win this match.
Did you feel that playing your forehand out to his forehand was the difference and staying away from his very stable backhand?
Yeah, I know that he's a very stable player. My goal was to disturb him, play really powerful with my forehand, and find his middle was really important.
What were the emotions like in that sort of 3-game roller coaster? The first couple games especially were a lot of back and forth with one player having momentum and then the other seizing it back.
Yeah, it's really difficult, you know, when it's 2-0, I have already won, and then I have to play one more game. It's really difficult, and for emotions, it's difficult to, I don't know.
All right, the last question is the most important one, Bastien. The glasses that you're wearing, which we can't see the tips of because of the headset, but I noticed that they're gold.
Yeah.
Did you purposefully get those glasses to match your jersey?
No. No, it's no.
Just a coincidence.
No. Yeah.
It was meant to be. As you, a member of the Carolina Gold Rush, congrats on taking 2 out of 3. We'll see you in the Golden Game later on.
Thank you.
Bastien Dupont, the 23-year-old from France, clearing up. It was more a fashion coincidence than an intentional choice, but it works. Sean O'Neill.
He just played excellent in first games, and it's interesting. We've talked to a lot of the players how they're going to prepare for that third game, especially it was a two-game lead. And we heard one player last night say he just treats them as 3 separate matches and he tries to win each one. I think that's the best way of dealing with it. If you do go up 2-0, you can't take a breather or a break. You have to stay strong.
All right, doubles. Desantalon and Anglais back on the table. And they are joined by Hong Lin and Angela Guan. We've seen Desantalon and Guan play doubles all 3 days, and frankly, they've been fascinating and compelling, but they've only won 1 out of 5 games that they've played. Meanwhile, Anglais and Lin took 2 out of 3 yesterday when they went up against Gorak and Ekholm from the Crocs.
I think we're going to see this doubles pair quite a bit for the Gold Rush, just because it allows Anglais to get 2 matches in under his belt. It also allows for the match that every team has to have a woman play at least 1 match. Keeps her in the doubles. And that pen holder tips out hitting right there is such a nice combination. A little bit of movement issues there for the Gold Rush, but they were able to get out of each other's way.
The fascinating dynamic of doubles. I'm frankly amazed there aren't more collisions.
Well, there will be in this one, just because with 2 defensive players, look for the Gold Rush to play down the middle or play back to the person who just hit the ball as a way of putting additional pressure on the opposing team.
What's the mindset from a footwork standpoint? You hit the ball and then what? Get out of the way?
Get out of the way, give up the table, get to the side, and make sure you're not in the hitting zone where somebody can go after and play the ball right into you.
Desantalon wants that one back. Carolina with a couple serves here and a 4-2 lead. And Hong Lin will serve. 33-year-old from China who now lives in North Carolina. Did that catch the edge of the table? No, it just missed.
Just missed. Enzo Anglais so good with the touch. We saw him when he played against Desantalon, really mixing it up. Oh, that's a beautiful misdirection there.
That was a defensive point until Anglais used the angle that he had coming to the side of the table and reaching over.
Yeah, and he set up like he was going to possibly go out to the Angela Guan's forehand side and just hooked it. That ball is so heavy from Desantalon. He is loading up the underspin. Both teams giving their partner signals of what they're going to do, either on the type of spin or where they're going to place the ball to help with body position. Nice drop shot there by Hong Lin. Hong Lin kept it really short and low. Came off the end of the table, but not much pace on the ball. The Gold Rush looking very strong here in the doubles.
Desantalon with one powerful winner, but a big, steep hill still to climb for the Revolution. Barrage of game points here for the Gold Rush. And that'll do it for game 1 on 11-4 demolition.
So game 1, it is Carolina Gold Rush.
Anglais and Lin again showing off some good chemistry. against these defensive players that are struggling to create any offense.
Again, the order will change in game 2, so when you see a little bit of a lopsided game, you can assume that that won't occur the second time, just because whoever you're hitting to now, you're hitting to their partner. So it's a nice dynamic that most teams will, when they go back for coaching, the coach will say, just forget about that game. We've got a new order. Let's take advantage of a different setup.
So instead of Anglais hitting it to Wong, this time he'll be hitting it to Desantalon, and
that'll make a big
Desantalon
difference.
will be hitting it to Lin, and maybe they can take advantage of that.
And Desantalon can use the spin of Anglais to go into Lin's ball. So nice hooking shot there. You can just see that follow through where Anglais wrapped it around his body to have a nice misdirection. And of course, we've seen Wong have some great backhand pick hits. We'll have to look to see if she pulls that out of her bag of tricks here in game 2. Look at how much spin. So Anglais looped the heck out of the ball. Desantalon gave him all the spin back when Hong Lin went to plate. It barely even got to the net. It hit her side of the table because it had so much of Anglais' spin just reversed. Wong needs to be able to make that forehand. Desantalon gave their team a slight advantage with that counterattack. There's the backhand hit there.
1-2.
Anglais coming out firing, and Desantalon's defense almost got it back.
It was so close. Anglais is either going to play a controlled slow shot or he's going to just go for a rip. Not going to give Desantalon anything to work with.
Not Hazin and work 3-1.
So as a warning, need to toss the ball up 6 inches.
We've seen that warning a lot.
That time, Revolution players did much better, mixing it up, moving the ball around. Oh, excellent topspin return there by Desantalon. Again, using Anglais' spin to redirect it back. A little bit of a break on it.
Min was kind of left lunging. The footwork wasn't where it needed to be.
Yeah. It would have been one thing if Desantalon just had added topspin, but it was a little bit of topspin and side spin, so there was a kick to it. Oh, beautiful backhand by Angela Wong. We've seen her do that, both with the long pips surface on her backhand, but also flipping it over and using the inverted side. Both choppers using a combination racket setup where they can chop with the smooth or use the long pips to deal with these heavy top spins.
4-4.
4-all here in game 2. Couple serves here for Anglais. Already took 2 out of 3 in singles from Desantalon earlier in this match.
5-4.
That's a beautiful misdirection there by Anglais. Just takes it from the center of the table, opens up the face, loops it out to the forehand side.
How about that backhand from Anglais?
That's insane. I was thinking, Angela, what a great forehand loop she pulled off on a third ball attack, and Anglais just steps back, counterattacks it with the backhand. But there's some crazy spin on that ball right now. Anglais just trying to return it, and it jumps off the side of the table.
Now Lin serving it 7-5.
That ball's really heavy. Nice lift. Not easy for Hong Lin to read the amount of spin coming off of her partner's ball that's being returned by a defensive player. Much easier to deal with that in singles. Still very heavy. You can just see Anglais make that first heavy spin. Desantalon is very happy to have something to work with.
At this point in game 1, it was game point. Here in game 2, we're even. 7-all.
Anglais, great shots. Not bad defense from the Revolution. They kept it low, somewhat deep, but Anglais just turned on the offense.
Wong goes into the net, trying with the attack.
Right, she twiddled right before. She had the long pips, and that ball popped up, so she went to the smooth side, but just couldn't execute in time. Now down two big points. Another easy push mistake there by Angela.
Sets up game point.
Almost forces her partner, Desantalon, to take a little bit more of a risk offensively.
Well, by winning that point on Enzo's serve, they're back within 2, and they do have 2 serves here. Guan and Desantalon trying to get back in this. Desantalon to serve. And another error from Guan ends the game as Carolina takes game 2, 11-8. Enzo Anglais just continues to churn out points for this Carolina team.
And we'll go back to the order of game 1, which we saw more of a lopsided game. But Enzo continues to go for the big shots. Ball caught the side, went down. But Angela really needs to up her game. She's had a couple opportunities. That was one of the early extra side spin returns. But that backhand loop by Enzo, so strong from the backcourt.
Compete in table tennis. We got table tennis fans over here. Most people use attacking rubber on both sides that we call inverted because the pits are turned inwards.
So one more doubles game here, and Carolina in position to take a 7-2 lead unless Desantalon and Guan can find a little bit more consistency.
Going into the golden game, they might be able to max out on points and then fight for those critical 6 points, which in the team standings would be huge.
Game 3, Revolution to serve, 0-0.
Another nice Sunday afternoon crowd on hand here at the Ocean Center, the first ever Major League Table Tennis weekend. Just the beginning, Sean, but it is mighty special to be here.
Nice combination there by the Revolution, going from defense to offense. Angela Guan really stepping up well.
2-0.
0-2.
Last time it was this order, it was 11-4. So good start for Princeton. Can they keep it going? Angela Guan with an inspired start to this third game.
She's deciding, I'm not going to miss any more pushes. I'm going to just start smashing my way.
Where has that shot been? Hong Lin with the winner there. Get Gold Rush on the board here in this third game. In the first 4 matches, what we've seen the last 2 days, there's only been 1 sweep in doubles.
A lot of that has to do with the change in order.
Yeah.
Once you get comfortable, then the order changes up, and then once one team gets to 5, they'll change ends and change receivers.
They go to the towels, 4-2. I just had an absurd thought pop in my mind that I should just leave there. And I'm thinking how entertaining triples might be. If you had, you know, all these different orders and you had to get out of each other's way, and probably more entertaining for the spectators and the actual people playing, colliding with each other.
You'd have some moving targets.
Yes, yes you would. You've never played triples, have you?
Not in table tennis, basketball.
Now again, for table tennis and doubles,
timeout taken. And it's 4-3 with Princeton in front here in the third game. Revolution trying to salvage this game after dropping the first 2. Basically Carolina doubling up Princeton 22-12 in those first 2 games.
I think, Evan, the Revolution will continue as long as they keep this doubles team. Every game, every match, they'll just get more and more comfortable with the tendencies as 2 defensive players. Both of them have said that they don't really play that often with another defender. They play with an offensive player who they try to set up with their defense. Here they often will just like stay in the defensive mode until a surprise attack occurs.
The players will come back to the table shortly here. Whoever called the timeout can end it early or can use up to 60 seconds.
I would expect Enzo Anglais to continue to get those 2 matches since he is a strong left-handed player for doubles, as well as his singles has just been unmatched.
Oh, nobody home.
Little do-si-do, little square dancing over there.
Anglais with a huge smile on his face, grinning about how this transpired.
What happened was Anglais moved back, and Hong wasn't sure which way he was going, decided to go around him on the southern view and just got a little blocked out of it.
5-3.
A moment of levity in an intense doubles match.
Just boxed out his partner from getting the rebound.
And he wanted the angle toward the player who could not receive it, and he missed.
If you look at the footwork of the Revolution in red, how well they move, they give the entire table up to their partner.
Oh my goodness.
Enzo Anglais can play that ball from his backhand corner, turning around using his forehand and going on the diagonal.
Kaboom.
Just inside out. He went for it again, but there was no angle to go over there. There was a straight ball out to his forehand, and he tried to cut it going across his body. Beautiful backhand loop. Desantalon said, I've had enough of this running around. Just pulls out the backhand loop down the line. Critical point. Lead. And there's a body blow there. Nice play by Hong Lin to get it into Angela Guan's body.
right down the middle.
Taking a little page out of Enzo Anglais' playbook instead of just going cross court, playing it a little more straight. The Revolution have a chance to steal a game here. A soft opening there by Anglais.
One more serve here for Lin. Into the net.
It's so heavy. That's the challenge when Anglais goes for that first heavy topspin. It's going to come back loaded with underspin.
Game points for Princeton. How about that? Desantalon and Guan salvage game 3. But it's 2 out of 3 for the Carolina Gold Rush in doubles, just like it has been in the first 2 singles matches. And it's a 6-3 Carolina lead as we head into the back half of this Sunday afternoon tilt. 11-6. The final score in that last game for Desantalon and Wong.
You see Enzo still laughing about the box out. Didn't know where his partner was and just had her do one more shift, unable to get around him. But credit Princeton Revolution for getting on the board in doubles against a very strong Carolina Gold Rush.
Well, we're seeing a little offense from Angela Guan as she joins us now. Angela, what inspired the attacking mindset when we've seen the chopping be your forte so far?
Yeah, I think my partner really encourages me, and seeing him play inspires me so much to be more as an offensive defensive player.
So Angela, when you guys are playing, how aware of you of your footwork and your placement? It seemed like the other team ran into each other, at least on one occasion, but you guys have such great table sense.
Yeah, I think as defensive players, as choppers, we already cover so much of the court. And so our footprints is almost everywhere. We run very similarly. So I think that's an advantage for us.
How did playing against Enzo and Hong give you gradual confidence? I mean, you lose 11-4, you lose 11-8, then you turn it around in game 3. How did your confidence and comfort grow as the match went on?
I think it's normal, and like if we lose 11-4, but try to reset our mindset and start fresh from 0-0 again. In MLTT, every point counts.
Great stuff. Well, congrats on getting that last game, Angela, and we'll see you back out there for the Golden Game in a little bit.
Awesome. Thank you. Enjoy the matches.
Angela Guan, the former National College Women's Singles champ representing Cal Berkeley. Former gymnast before she got into table tennis.
And her mom was a player as well, a defensive player, so kind of kept the sport and the style.
So Desantalon and Guan, I mean, they battled from wire to wire. And got a little bit more aggressive offensively late and weathered the storm of ferocious forehands from Enzo Anglais. Back to singles, Sean, with Roman Lawrence for the Gold Rush and Jinxin Wong for the Revolution. Jinxin Wong has been the most impressive player with a sub-500 overall record this weekend. He's had some tough breaks, I felt like. He's 2-4 in 6 singles games.
Game 1,
he's a dangerous player. Lorenz 3-3 in his 6 singles games.
And Lorenz is going to really fight hard, as we saw earlier with teammate with Dupont, trying to get that forehand in. He wants to play offense as much as possible. Jinxin Wong, excellent blocker, will move the ball around.
One, 0.
piece as the serve goes to Wong. Lawrence took 2 out of 3 from Sasha Hanin in the first ever singles match in MLTT history on Friday. That was against Chicago, and then on Saturday against Florida, Lawrence took 1 of 3 games against Daniel Gorak.
Gorak was just totally amazing in the match last night, especially in the golden game.
And we heard from Carolina, they felt Lawrence played really well.
And sometimes everything's working, but the opponent is just 1 step ahead of you or 1 shot better. But Wong would like to really get a W here, at least get 2 points.
2, 3.
Took 2 out of 3 from Mark Duran on Friday in the Florida match. And then Wong was swept in 3 close competitive games against Sasha Hanin on Saturday.
3, 3.
So both these players did go against Sasha. How much do you think about the transitive property, or is it a totally different matchup entirely?
Styles can sometimes make it completely different, but then the momentum shifts and the streakiness of the sport, the focus, the concentration, and also with a team sport, you've got a coach and teammates that can give you some extra insight in what you might try differently, whether it's a service change or whether when you play that first ball to the forehand or backhand side, if they see something that you don't. But Armand Lorenz, an excellent player, great footwork. Wong really known for his placement and sudden attacks. Nice placement there down the line by the former US Open champion, Jinxing Wong. Always looking for an opening.
6, 4.
Can you put into context what it means to be a former US Open champion, the significance of that title?
Coming to the US, trying to get his name out there. He beat Andrei Crișan of Romania, one of the top 20 or 30 players in the world at the time. Big money in Las Vegas, all eyes on him. Got married, or actually made the proposal to his wife right after the finals. And just everyone in the Bay Area where he was playing out of couldn't have been happier. Just a super sportsman, nice guy. You like to see guys like him win the majors.
Jinxing Wong, he and his wife are about to become parents next month. Their first child's due in late October.
So hopefully we'll get some extra spectators at the next East Coast match. And there's Lorenz's forehand.
7,
I was
6.
chatting with Wong about will he be in Myrtle Beach in October, and he said he hopes so. But that will be a factor. The due date is about a week and a half, 2 weeks after the event. Those things are out of your control.
Oh, that's a great backhand loop down the line by Lorenz.
8.
Jinxing Wong probably felt pretty good getting to the backhand side, but Lorenz picked it up off the ground. Very well placed. Very happy with that shot.
7, 8.
Wong ties it up.
8.
Great
Inside out for him.
Great misdirection. Had a slight high ball, just a little body fake to the side.
8, 8.
Got Lorenz going to his forehand. Well-placed ball over to the backhand side.
Both these players trying to make the opening statement here in game 1.
Eight, 9.
Jinxing Wong being very aggressive on the serve return. Nice over-the-table flip. Forcing Lorenz to make a loop off of his paste ball.
What's going to be the difference here, Sean? What do you think?
Well, if it goes 10-10, we know that one difference will be they're only going to play 1 point. No deuce games in Major League Table Tennis.
If it goes
one and done.
If it goes to 10-10, it will be on Lorenz's serve. The next 2 serves belong to Wong.
Great over-the-table loop by Lorenz. Wong made a nice return, but Lorenz just presence of mind to be up at the table, kept the pressure on, and now game point for the Gold Rush.
Ten all.
10.
Lorenz to serve.
Point.
Universe point here in game 1 and third singles. And Lorenz, with a good, deep, surprising serve, takes it 11-10.
And you can hear the excitement out of Lorenz after he just delivered a great underspin serve, catching Jin Wong. Not sure of the spin, but for a direct point winner off the serve.
Climbing their way back in. Now, one of the greatest things
After 20 great points in
What a
play,
game.
it comes down to just one serve. Jin Wong trying to do something with it.
Then they get a call saying, no, and it's the greatest comeback in history. Now, the way this is built.
This was the point at 9-9 that gave Lorenz the 10-9 edge.
Thanks, Mania. So the golden
And
game.
here's the game-winning serve.
Up after this, we have one more singles match, and then we have the golden game, which can create a lot of mystery.
Lorenz doing such a great job of getting around his backhand corner.
6 points in the golden game. Every other
That
game is worth
backhand
1 point, just
into
one.
play.
Whoever wins this next game gets their team 1 point. But the teams together as a unit, 6 points for 1 game. That'll swing a lot of things. So let's welcome the players back. Game number 2. Make some noise.
Time.
Anglais, Lin,
Game 2.
Dupont,
Revolution to
and
serve.
Zhang all fired
0,
up on the Gold
0.
Rush bench. By the way, Sean, you haven't said one way or another how you feel about the term universe point that I have brought over from my world into yours.
It's growing on me. It's a major point for sure. And now look at
1,
the very next
0.
point of the game. Same medicine, same serve, same result. So all I know is it is absolutely critical at 10-10 to help your team.
1,
That was a nice
1.
backhand loop by Lorenz. See if Jin Xing can stay positive or if that game will linger. That 1 point difference. Mistake there to go out to
1.
Lorenz's forehand. No problem with the counterattack. Nice opening, another backhand loop, and then a counter loop on the forehand side to go cross court to get the early lead. And again, Lorenz's forehand
3.
is so solid. When he lands it, he knows what angles he's got to cover.
What about his movement?
His footwork is excellent. And if you're going to play that many forehands, you better have footwork because you're going to be running all over the place. Jin Wong needs to get some offense going on his side. That's a nice set of loops here.
Oh my goodness.
1-4.
Jin Wong needs a drink.
Make that a double because I had everything lined up and then he's about to smash it. Just the back edge of the table. Lorenz extends it by 3 points. That ball was a little bit loose by Lorenz. That could have been a huge difference had he made this point. Step around the backhand. It's 2-4 now instead of 1-5 with the serve.
He didn't catch the edge of the table.
Exactly.
Yeah.
5-2.
5-2 lead.
As Angela Guan said earlier, all points add up, as do games. You want to win the team match here, of course, but more importantly, you want to add as many games to your team so you can reach that semifinal playoff.
Oh, good
3-5.
reflex there from Wong to send it back. You know, in each of the first 4 matches we've seen today, 3 singles and 1
3-5.
doubles, Carolina has won the opening game in every single match. Anglais, Dupont, Anglais and Lin doubles. Here Lawrence, 11-10. Lawrence showing the movement yet again.
6.
Great offense by the Gold Rush. Revolution has to get back up to the table. They're not in striking zone when they're that far back.
Oh! Unleashing that forehand down the line. Jinxing Wong has seen enough.
Just decided he's had so many opening loops that he was blocking. This time he turned the corner, just unloaded on that controlled opening shot by Lorenz.
We need a radar gun to tell me how fast that was.
Nice offensive move there by Jinxing. He's been playing very safe on the serve, giving Roman Lorenz a lot of opportunities to step around and get his forehand into play. That time, more of a topspin flip. You just see Lorenz fighting so hard to get those forehands in. Loves to step around the backhand side.
6-all here in game 2.
Lorenz's forehand has served him so well here in Major League Table Tennis in all of his matches.
All Jinxing Wong does is play close games. He's been in every single game he's played. He's lost a bunch of heartbreakers along the way, including the first game today.
And some of it is due to he's just playing very safe. He doesn't take a lot of risks. He looks for his opportunities to go for the big shot. And he's playing against guys that can really unload and bring the heat. Jinxing needs to do a little bit more than just have a short return. He's got to be offensive-minded in order to knock Lorenz out of his comfort zone. Putting it back short isn't going to get the job done. Not at this level.
And Lorenz takes a 2-point lead. Goes up 9-7. Wong, long stare at the table.
Just stepped in a little too quick for that short serve return. Didn't let the ball breathe or bounce high enough to get underneath it. Bottomed out. And that's a little bit better there.
9.
Getting the first backhand attack. But you're right, Evan. Every time we've seen Jinxing Wong play, it's 9-9 or 10-9. Or
10-10.
Yep, going for the final point.
Let's play.
And it's 9-9 again with Wong and Lorenz.
Lorenz decided on this point he didn't want to just play it short, so he went for a backhand attack. Couldn't get the angle. And we're back. Both players in striking zone.
Wong is just 2-5 in singles games, but 3 of his 5 losses have been either 11-10 or 11-9. He changed that here. Oh! Jinshin Wong unleashing that cross-court forehand to set up game point.
Such a courageous forehand attack. He's been dropping him short all match long. This time he goes for the winner. You can see Anglais in the back just totally surprised that he went for it.
So is Lawrence. And he went for it again, but he could not convert, and we've got another universe point. Jinshin Wong and Roman Lawrence, 10-all. Next point wins.
We do have a different server from game 1.
Wong to serve. Lawrence takes it again.
Game 2 to Gold Rush.
11-10 for the Frenchman. Roman Lawrence with back-to-back one-point thrillers.
Just super tactics on this last point. Getting his forehand in, staying up to the table, forcing Wong off the table. To all he can do is lob it back. Just very smart decision making. So patient.
Or occasionally a bit closer to the baseline can really make someone uncomfortable.
Again, off the table, Jinshin Wong doing everything he can just to put his racket on it. And you can see the Gold Rush in the background.
Set up early and have to move in. It changes their timing. Table tennis is a game of rhythm. So if you can break the timing, catch someone off guard. We've seen it with the backhands of Roland.
Both players having great success of taking risks by moving around their backhand, getting their forehand into play. A lot of spin, a lot of power.
Wherever he can. Wong Jinshin has done a good job of putting him there by keeping him in the backhand corner and occasionally going to the wide forehand. So as the players come back,
Gold Rush just playing so well in the big moments.
8-3 overall. Gold Rush are guaranteed an advantage going into the golden
Game
game.
3, Revolution to serve. 0-0.
Now the question is, how big could that advantage be? Could be as many as 5. Now can Wong salvage game 3? Roman Lawrence is thinking sweet.
Yeah, definitely every player that we've talked to over the first 2 days, they know when they go up 2-0, they can really put an exclamation point on it by taking that third game to give them that 3-point lead. It's a powerful backhand block there by Jinshin Wong. Lorenz got his forehand into play a little high. Jinshin Wong just turning it over and playing the ball down the line.
Oh!
2-1.
Seems when you've got your back against the wall, it's much easier to decide that you're going to play offense. Those placement shots haven't really done as well against Lorenz as Wong has hoped. And that's really not his game to go all-out offense. He likes to play position. He likes to pick and choose.
And he's hit some dynamic winners, but he also has had his fair share of errors. Lawrence again, the punishing forehand to take the lead here in game 3.
Lorenz does such a great job of giving himself space when he steps around his backhand. So here you see, steps around, he can take it back behind the player as he gives himself options in each direction. That would be a very difficult ball to land. So much spin off of Wong's backhand loop, and that ball's below the net. Almost impossible to bring it down. going for the aggressive deep serve. Lorenz ready for it. Delivers a quick backhand loop. Catches Wong a little surprised.
How about the quickness from Lorenz there? He's showing off every aspect of his game.
What footwork by Lorenz. He's so far back and then steps in and then has the presence of mind to not just return it, but to add a little bit of forehand pressure on it. Nice flip. And now we're changing in game 3 at 5.
5-3.
Final singles match coming up next will be Alex Chen and Jeremy Hazin.
That serve got away from Lorenz. He likes to have that bounce twice on the opposing side if the player would not attempt to touch it. If it goes long, you're going to get a heavy topspin. Short serves are a premium. Little mental breakdown there by Lorenz off of his serve, losing both points. Could have gone up 7-3. Instead, we're tied at 5-all.
And really most of the... This doesn't feel like a 8-3 match, but all the close games, all but one of them have gone to Carolina.
Just so deep in their team.
And clutch.
Yeah. They're playing the big points the best. Just overplaying that ball. And what is the likelihood of another 10-10 game with Jinshin Wong?
He played 3 universe point games in a row against Mark Duran on Friday. Two more here today against Roman Lorenz.
Nice deep serve there. Puts a lot of pressure on Wong to make a offensive shot.
Tough break.
6-8.
But Lorenz will take it. He's got a 2-point lead, and Wong's like, can a guy catch a break?
Lorenz is constantly getting his forehand into play. He's the one dictating the action. He's rewarded by that back edge.
Whoa! 7-8.
Wong back within 1, trying to maintain his focus. It's a big swing here, 8-4 or 9-3.
He's got the serve. Try to tie it up. Tried to go around the net on that one.
7.
Lorenz gave him a very wide-angled shot. Lorenz is just not that skilled in the backcourt. Often going for these forehands. He has to give up the table.
9-8. One more serve here for Roman. And Lorenz creates a couple
10.
game points.
Just so solid once he makes his first forehand land. He can loop 3, 4, 5 balls if necessary. No matter where Jinshin Wong returns it, unless Wong goes for the strong counterattack. Expect Laurens to just keep spinning that ball with his forehand.
Net cord winner to stay alive. That's the break Wong's been needing. And will it matter? First, he's trying to get us to another universe point. And he does it.
10.
It wouldn't be Major League Table Tennis without all three.
So much riding on this next point for these two players. This would be the closest three-game sweep in MLTT history, where Jinxin Wang can perhaps get some momentum going for Alex Chen and the Revolution. This is it. Lawrence to serve. And it is long. Roman Lawrence with a three-game sweep by the slimmest possible margin. Wow.
Credit the great serve of Lorenz. Twice he won it directly off the serve, and his team is so thrilled. A basic inside-out serve. Wong unable to keep it short or even on the table. And you can just see the celebration on the Gold Rush, knowing a sweep has occurred.
So now a 9-3 lead. Carolina in great position with one more singles match and then the golden game. What an exhilarating singles contest between Jinxin Wang and Roman Lawrence, and we're joined by the winner. Roman, congratulations. Can you take us through what's going through your mind when the score is 10-10?
I don't know, I just kept really focused, and I knew what I have to do, but of course I was a little bit lucky to win 3 times 11-10. It could also turn in his side, so I'm of course really happy, and I made the good service and receive decision at this moment.
Does your approach change at all from a tactical standpoint when it's 10-10 compared to 0-0?
Not really, actually. We know with this system that all the points are really important, and you cannot let 1 or 2 points going. You cannot lose your focus, at least. At the moment you lose your concentration, it's done, and you give the points to the other team. So, of course, I was really focused, and yeah, I'm really happy that I made the really good decision.
And how pleased were you with your forehand? It would seem like every time you had a chance to step around, it was really working well.
Yeah, of course, that's the big part of my game, to move well and to use my forehand as much as possible. And yeah, I mean, I think he was not confident with my quality of ball, of spin. So yeah, I'm really happy with this win.
It wasn't just in your match, Roman. Every single match today that's been close, for the most part, has gone to the Gold Rush. What has made your team comfortable and clutch in the big points?
It's difficult to say. I think we are all fighting in a good way for the team and giving our best. Today it's in our turn, but I mean, the game is not finished yet. It's only 9-3, and we know that it's not finished. We still have to win at least 2 points here or the golden game, so it's still far from the victory.
Well said. Roman Lawrence, congratulations on an exhilarating victory. We'll see you in just a little bit for the golden game.
Thank you. See you.
Roman Lawrence, 11-10, 11-10, 11-10 over Jinxin Wang.
Total of 3 points separating them. Just excellent play, and again, that service at the end. Both games, excellent play.
One more singles match today in this Revolution Gold Rush battle. Alex Chen back on the table after he took 2 out of 3 games from Florida's Benjamin Brossier back on Friday. Chen was not active in Saturday's game for Princeton against Chicago. His opponent, Jeremy Hazin, who went winless against Ojo Onaolapo in 3 games in second singles yesterday. Hazin was inactive on Friday, so both these players looking to make a statement. Hazin looking for his first win, and Chen trying to rediscover the momentum he had with a strong play on Friday night.
And Chen has a lot of firepower. You can look at his arms. You know that he's going to be bringing some heavy topspin. Hazin, a very smart player, moves the ball around, likes to get his forehand in from the backhand side.
Here we go. Oh, there's the power you're talking about from Alex Chen.
And don't be surprised if Jeremy is talking to himself. He often will have a dialogue, just giving him encouragement.
Sean, during your playing heyday, would you talk to yourself on the table?
Actually, I would quite a bit, just especially if the opponent was bringing great shots, just saying to yourself, get ready for the next point, or good try, or look at that power by Alex Chen. It's going to be tough for Jeremy as a lefty to cover that wide forehand diagonal shot by Alex. I'd have excellent footwork to cover the there once again, just taking it off the bounce to the open court. We're seeing Alex just dancing in delight over there.
Bouncing around like a young Muhammad Ali out there. Let's say a young Cassius Clay. You gotta be kidding. I mean, you gotta be kidding.
And Jeremy made a nice opening. He took that serve and spun it up. But Alex said, I'll have nothing to do with that. Now it's forcing Jeremy to be very offensive because he can't just put the ball into play.
Chen has seized control of this first game quickly and authoritatively. There's an error from Chen, sending it long, and Hazin looking to build on that here.
That's a nice combination there by Hazin. He's got to get his forehand in, or at least play some balls out to Alex's wide forehand.
Roman made a good point, though, at the end of that interview, Sean. If Jeremy Hazin can take 2 out of 3 here, that'll clinch the match even before we get to the Golden Game.
That's a major goal.
If Chen can take 2 out of 3 or sweep, then Princeton could still win this match by winning the Golden Game, and that's going to be at least a 3-point deficit at the start of the Golden Game. Could swell to as large as 5, depending on the result of this match between Chen and Hazin.
Chen would love to sweep here and make up for some of these 2-1 victories. Again, both backhand and forehand side by Alexander Chen.
Four-point lead again now for Chen. He was born in China, but actually he was born in Austria, then lived in China for 7 years, then moved back to Austria. But the majority of his life has been in Vienna. Oh my.
So smooth over the table. Jeremy just popped the serve up a little bit. Alexander Chen finished it. There's the nice backhand cross court out to the forehand.
You know, with what we've seen from Chen, it's hard to believe he was a 6th round draft pick. And I asked him about that.
I think one of the challenges is there's so many players in the draft that you needed to know the players really well.
The other challenge for Chen is that he was dealing with some hand pain during the combine, so he did not play his best.
Exactly.
9-7, Hazin hanging around here. Has a chance to steal this. Chen could have put it away. Does have 2 serves here to try and do just that. 9-8.
Jeremy Hazin just reeling his opponent back in one by one. Not using a lot of power, but a lot more placement, staying close to the table, taking the ball off the bounce.
Chen with a big fist pump.
Jeremy made a great counterattack. Chen said, that's fine, I'll up you one more. What a big step around after stepping around once.
Hazin has a couple of serves, but he's trying to save a couple of game points. Chen puts it away. 11-8 for Alex Chen over Jeremy Hazin. An important first point to this match for the Princeton Revolution. Chen needs to get at least one more to keep them in this match.
Just so much firepower. Jeremy went with a safe, soft return, and Chen said, I'm going to take that home. Just completely ripped it. Look at the racket speed, the balance. He hits that ball just so hard. Jeremy did a great job throughout getting back into the game, but the power on the side of Alexander Chen.
And Hazin wears his emotions on his sleeve as much as anybody, doesn't he?
Does such a good job of moving it around. Excellent placement, but nowhere near the firepower of Alexander Chen.
Jeremy Hazin represented Canada in the 2021 Olympics. Tokyo. Alex Chen said he lives in Vienna. He had quite a journey. Vienna to Madrid, to Miami, to Orlando, and then a drive to Daytona Beach. So it took like 24 hours. He was ready for a nap. 2-0 start for Hazin here in game 2.
Great offensive play by the NYU student, Hazin.
Zero, 3.
3-0 lead. How has Hazin done a better job at handling the pace?
Just mixing it up and not giving Alexander Chen an easy ball to work with. Adding a little bit of spin, keeping it short, misdirecting it, staying close to the table.
4,
And by
0.
getting a couple other balls back, Chen has gone for more and made a couple more mistakes.
The timing is so critical in table tennis at this level. The ball is being spun so heavy. You're only often 8 to 9 feet away.
Jeremy Hazin has completely boomeranged this match around. A 5-0 lead to start game 2. I don't remember another 5-0 lead in any game we've played all weekend.
And most of the games have started out so tight as both players feeling out the opponent. That ball was just a reach for the ball. Jeremy explaining to himself, you don't need to go for that early. When the opposing player is finishing the ball so hard, often forces you to up your speed to match it.
Chen into the net, and it's 6-1.
Almost looks like Chen has lost his timing. Some of these misses haven't even been close.
If Hazin wins this game, game 3 is going to be fascinating. Because there's going to be so much at stake. I mean, obviously the 6 points for the Golden Game are going to matter in the standings. But Carolina can render that Golden Game meaningless. Can render that Golden Game meaningless from a win-loss standpoint. If Hazin could win games 2 and 3 here, and he has completely shown he's capable of that.
And there's the combination, and you can see Jeremy encouraging himself. Beautiful 1-2 play. He's definitely feeling it right now, up 9-1 here in game 2.
2-9.
In the 13 games we've seen so far today, Sean, and there have been 3 that have been 11-4, 1 that was 11-6. Everything else has been 11-8 or closer.
And Alexander Chen just served one off the edge of his paddle.
Cathartic winner there, but
a little bit more, that type of shot more in frustration, going for the big shot.
10-4.
10. 5.
10-5.
Jeremy really didn't do anything with that ball other than to play a soft topspin. And we know what Alexander Chen likes to do with those.
And it's now 10-6.
And he's getting edge balls back now.
4 straight points from Alex Chen. And these are 2 big serves here for Jeremy Hazin.
A net edge, and then Chen with the big forehand step
Gold
around.
Rush called timeout.
Gold Rush take the timeout. Jeremy Hazin had a 10-2 lead, and then all of a sudden finds himself sort of clinging to life here.
Jeremy did such a good job to change the momentum, getting his attacks going, moving the ball around, just putting so much more pressure on Alexander Chen to leave the table.
You were sitting over here before, yeah? Moved over, okay. Moving around, this is a good seat. This is the
That
seat
was
you want.
Jeremy's best combo on that last point, getting the backhand and forehand to go.
Nothing is over after this.
Everyone offering advice.
Time.
This game puts a lot of pressure on Alex. It will be a must-win situation for the team match. Here we go, back from the timeout. 4 game points left.
After the timeout, Hazin has a couple serves to work with. It's still game point. This is his 5th chance to win this second game. 5th chance to charm for Jeremy Hazin, and it's a Gold Rush victory to make it 10-4 overall.
What a change in demeanor between game 1 and game 2, where Alexander Chen was just leading the bomb squad. Jeremy just getting that ball into play, getting his offense going, really putting the pressure on the Princeton Revolution.
What's the story? Why don't they agree? Interesting. The truth teller, the face. Okay, feeling good. What's that? Maybe a little stressed.
So it's 10-4 Carolina.
Alex Chen right now.
Jeremy Hazin could win another game that would clinch the match victory even before the Golden Game. It'd be the first time we've seen that in Major League Table Tennis history.
But if they win it, 6 points.
But if Princeton could win this game, Alex Chen can take 2 out of 3. Then the Revolution could win the Golden Game. Of course, they'd have to come from 5 points down to do it.
But we just don't know the lineup for the Golden Game. Anything can happen.
They'll determine that lineup after the singles game. All the singles matches conclude. Coaches will come together and go one spot at a time.
Revolution to serve.
And there's no
0-0.
ranking regulations in Golden Game lineup selection. Here's Chen.
1-0.
Chen would love to get back to game 1 strategy. Oh, that ball looked like it might have been able to land on the table. Jeremy smartly got over to the forehand, tracking it really well.
2-1.
Jeremy has very difficult serves to receive. He places them perfectly. Doesn't put a ton of spin. It really handcuffs you with the returns. Again, don't see Jeremy doing a lot. He's not finishing the ball, but the placement. Of course, you should go for everything, often playing it into his paddle. Jeremy's like, that soft opening isn't working. He's got to do a lot more with that first serve return. That's better. A little bit more pressure, a little bit lower. Not so high.
4 of the last 5 points have gone to Hazin. And after the first 6 points of game 1, it was hard to imagine Hazin being competitive.
No, it was just all Alexander Chen.
But Hazin has dialed up his intensity, has harnessed his power, and is in position to clinch this match for the Gold Rush.
Just playing Gold Rush table tennis, sure of himself, getting his forehand into play and moving the ball around. Never satisfied with just playing it to one location.
2-6.
Chen taking a long look at the ceiling, collecting his thoughts, down by 4. Down by 5 now.
And Chen has to make his serves a lot shorter. He's giving Jeremy a chance to not only open up, but to keep them deep and give him less time for his footwork to get into place or to take a quality backswing, just really jamming him. Well, that's a much better serve there.
3.
All these players, when they're serving short, they'd like that second bounce on the opposing side to come close to the edge so the table can't get out of the way for a big loop. Jeremy with a very nice combination. Just see Alexander holding his head low, wondering what happened in this match.
3-9.
Hazin has pulled away here.
Just excellent tactics. You can see how he has Chen off balance, no offense.
Oh my goodness.
10-4.
Jeremy Hazin sets up match point.
What a great inside out forehand. Just took it from the center of the table, out to the forehand.
And Hazin wins it for Carolina. He takes the match and he clinches the team victory for the Gold Rush. An 11-4 win in the decisive game 3 to make the overall score 11-4 heading into the Golden Game, which even if the Revolution win it, and there's still something to play for because those points in the standings are critical, but the Gold Rush are going to get 2 wins in their 3 matches to begin their Major League table tennis tenure.
And I can promise you, Evan, that they want to pad and get a couple more points out of this. They will be fighting tooth and nail for those extra 6 to possibly put them into first place at the end of our first weekend tour stop.
Let's chat with Jeremy Hazin after 2 games out of 3 over Alex Chen. Jeremy, thanks for joining us. If I had told you when you were down 5-1 in the first game that you were going to take 2 out of 3, what would you have said? Did you still believe at that point?
I actually would have never thought it would have been possible because actually, like, my style, I don't play with a lot of power. I play very soft ball, but I never expect he play like so much power and every ball on the table. So I know that starting from the second set, if I don't kill the ball, I'm going to lose. The first set I play so soft, but my style, I don't know how to have power. I don't have power, but I have no choice. I did something out of my comfort zone, and that's why I won the match today.
Jeremy, how fun is it to play from a team concept where you've got such a strong team with the Gold Rush behind you, just encouraging you to keep going out of your comfort zone?
For sure, my teammates definitely motivated me a lot. And I think playing as a team is totally different from playing individually. I actually feel like in this major league, I have a lot of motivation, so much support from my teammates. So that definitely pumped me up and brought me to the victory, I think, for sure.
So does this mean that today could be a turning point in your career? Are you going to be a power player from now on?
Well, actually, yes, because I used to be a full-time professional player, and then I went to Tokyo in 2021. Then I kind of stopped playing because I'm a full-time college student. So actually, for the last 2 years, I didn't have much motivation. But now, especially after yesterday, I did not play very well, and the score were not in my favor. So after today, definitely a lot of motivation. Slowly getting my motivation back.
We look forward to seeing Jeremy Hazin 2.0 as you go forward this season. Congrats on the win. Go play the Golden Game, and we'll see you down the road. Thanks, Jeremy.
Thank you so much. You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
Jeremy Hazin from down 5-1 in Game 1, wins Game 2 11-6 and Game 3 11-4. And while we were chatting with Hazin, the order for the Golden Game was being determined, and this is not a random draw. It'd be interesting if it was, and that would be a different wrinkle. But this is where the coaching really becomes a big factor, with Alex Yang for Carolina and Matthias Habasson for Princeton trying to find an advantage in this grand finale that we call the Golden Game.
Well, I think we're going to see with the Carolina Gold Rush,
Players,
Enzo
let's
Anglais
play.
getting as many matches and as many points in. He would love to do a couple golden sweeps and take all 4 points, because they want to get more games and more points going into the next championship match that we have in, what is it, about 4 weeks.
So here's a look at the order. The name's being punched in, but it'll be Wong versus Anglais. That's not a match we have seen before. Lawrence Prashepa
Golden Game.
coming up.
Play to 21 points. 0-5.
Desantalon
Revolution
and
to
Dupont.
serve, let. Revolution to serve, 0-5.
Wong jumped the gun a little bit. Here we go. It's a 5-0 deficit to start.
Ooh, and Wong was swept in
5-1.
singles. Or Enzo,
5-1.
1-2-1. A little bit of a risky shot there by Wong, and he can't afford to go down 3-1 in this opening match.
If you're wondering why it was a 5-0 start instead of perhaps a 7-0 start, by rule, the maximum advantage you can have at the beginning of the Golden Game is 5. But it was significant for the score to be 11-4 instead of 10-5, because even if Princeton wins this, 11-10 looks a whole lot better than 17-4, but Carolina will be the winner either way.
3-6.
But the number one thing in the standings is not wins and losses. It's total
Correct.
points.
That's a huge difference. You want to leave every match losing close or winning big.
6-4.
Very nice serve by Lorenz, mixing it up. Lorenz has been quite the server here on Sunday. This is going to be an exciting matchup right here with Dupont and Desantalon.
Dupont went 2-1 in singles. Desantalon got 1 game against Anglais. Dupont able to handle the neck cord ricochet, but Desantalon wins the point.
I think Dupont just realized how much spin Desantalon can keep on the ball. And now going for some offense.
And look, Princeton was down 5-0.
And now back within 2.
Yep.
This is a good matchup.
Outscored him 6-3 so far in the Golden Game.
For Princeton. That ball so heavy. Nice return.
Great rallying, and
9-6.
Dupont prevails to make it 9-6. These two will play one more point. Dupont celebrates the split.
Very smart play by Dupont, just lifting up the heavy forehand. We saw the defender, Desantalon, change his mind and try to counterattack it, but just too much spin.
And now some more new matchups, cross-gender battle. Angela Guan versus Jeremy Hazin. Oh, and Guan wins the point. Keeping Hazin off balance.
Hazin thinking, I've got to put the ball away, but as he said during our interview, he really is not that powerful of a player, more of a positional one. He's going to work the point. Much better play by Hazin in that last one. Wong really needs to keep that defense much lower.
Oh, Hazin with the answer.
That's what he likes to do. He likes to just camp out, wait for the attacks to come to him, and then redirect the energy.
Hazin takes 3 out of 4 over Guan, including each of the last 3 points.
And Angela absolutely did the right shot. Some really strong chops and then stepped around, tried to get that point, but Hazin's topspin a little bit too heavy for her to bring down.
And now here.
Oh, here's going to be some interesting firepower.
Alex Chen versus Hong Lin. And Chen rips it down the line.
Chen would love to do a golden sweep here.
13-9.
So much power. Serve and finish.
Lin gets one back.
She would love to split these 4 points.
Yeah, just getting one was big though for her and for her team. And she does split them. She gets the final 2 points. Back up by 6. Go the Gold Rush. On our way to 21.
Nice serve and backhand opening, forcing Chen to play off of her ball.
Nice placement from Anglais. Makes it 16-9. Oh, Anglais leaving it all on the floor, skidding his knee. Unable to find the table. That would have been the shot of the weekend if he had caught the corner. Sean, how uncommon is it to see players literally diving for these balls?
It's only when they care the most, whether it be in World Championships or Olympic play, these guys want points for their team. Wow.
17-11.
Anglais, the rare service error, leaving the door just slightly ajar here for the Princeton Revolution. Prashepa and Lawrence.
Lorenz's serves have been just stellar. Mixing it up, getting his forehand into play all day long. There he tried to step around.
12-17.
Prashepa with great backhand accuracy. Likes to get into backhand-to-backhand exchanges if possible.
3 straight for Yevgen Prashepa. And all of a sudden, Princeton's within 3.
That missed serve by Enzo Anglais could come back to haunt them.
And it's 4 in a row for Prashepa. It's a 2-point game as Dupont and Desantalon retake the table.
Those 4 points can be as big as a singles match at this stage of the match.
15-17.
Down 5-0. They're within 2. What a point.
15-18.
Dupont stabilizes the situation for Carolina. He brings the Gold Rush back up 3. 3 more points for these 2 Frenchmen.
Dupont looking so confident here. Oh,
18,
and Desantalon goes for the offense, leaving the entire table open.
(18-16). And it's a point for Desantalon.
17.
Crazy defense, lunging to keep that ball alive.
Dupont trying to put it through his opponent, and just one more ball catching the top of the net.
Incredible! We're tied, 18 all.
Exact same point with Dupont trying to drive it down the line after a great cross-court shot, another cross-court shot, net, post, and out. And we are tied at 18 all.
Imagine the positive vibes for Princeton after an 0-3 weekend, but to finish this way, if they could pull it off. And Jeremy Hazin wins the point from Angela Guan to put the Gold Rush back up 1. Into the net, sets up game point.
Great placement by Hazin, moving the ball out to Guan's forehand. She tried to return it with the long pips, ran over, could not get into position. Match point.
Into the net, 20-19. If Guan can win one more, then it'll be Chen versus Lin for the golden point.
Timeout.
Timeout. Everybody, take a deep breath.
Jeremy's looking a little bit nervous in this point here. He wanted to finish it off on the last one. Guan able to bring it back one more time.
Which Jeremy Hazin will show up here on this last point that he's going to play this weekend?
My guess,
how aggressive, how attacking is he going to be?
My guess he's going to go super safe. I don't think him going for a big shot makes any sense. Just work the point.
It's over. Jeremy Hazin takes the golden game for the Carolina Gold Rush as they wrap up their weekend with a ridiculous performance, 17-4 over the Princeton Revolution. This overall match, Sean O'Neill, felt so much closer than the final score. So many 11-10, 11-9 games, 21-19 in the golden game, but at the end of the day, the Carolina Gold Rush, led by Enzo Anglais, getting contributions from up and down the roster, and they are in great position to lead this division heading into Myrtle Beach in October.
The smiles on all their faces, you can just see, and of course, Jeremy Hazin coming through, big in singles and bigger in the golden game.
The celebration has just begun. Let's chat with Gold Rush coach Alex Yang. Alex, how's the heartbeat right now?
Yes, it's so nervous because if Jamie lose that point, we may lose. It's incredible. We up 5-0 and lose golden points. It looks impossible, but something has happened, you know.
You called timeout at 20-19. What was your message?
I told Jamie, you have to do serve attack. If you cannot, try to be patient, move her forward and back, find good timing to attack. Do not attack every single ball to be safe, because Angela Guan doesn't have a very good attacking, so you have to make your finish the match.
Were you surprised, Coach, in how well Bastien Dupont played in singles? He really seemed to come out really strong and put so much pressure on his opponent.
Yes, we had a meeting before. He told me he wants to play with Alex, but I thinking let him to play with him. So because he has good forehand and can make people nervous, and Jamie's game is too safe. He almost no chance to get one set. I talked Bastien, your goal is only one set. Then I talked Jamie, you need a one set. But it's surprise we lost the one set of double. That's now I'm respect.
So you asked them to get one and they get two.
Yeah.
That's got to feel good as a coach. What are the big overall takeaways for you, the lessons from this first ever Major League Table Tennis weekend?
Because the golden game. Golden game can change everything. So also, and first 5 matches is also important. Also, I taught all my players, even you are leading 2-0, but it's difficult to play third set. You have to start with 0-0. You don't think so you are leading, but it's a count by point. So you have to focus for every single point. 2-0, you start with 0-0. To win 3-0 is totally different than you win 2-1. And also I told them, if you're down 2-0, you don't give up, because you need a 1 point to close the match.
Alex, was this fun?
Yes, very fun. It's more fun.
We look forward to doing it again with you in Myrtle Beach about a month from now. Congrats on 2 good wins, 2 Golden Game wins, and a huge
yeah.
blowout
Also
here
today, Romain did great job with Jin Xing, because 3 times 11-10 won the Golden Game. It's incredible.
Yeah. A month from now, we're going to put a heart rate monitor on the coach just to measure your heart rate during those 10-10 points.
Yes, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks, Alex.
Thank you.
Alex Yang, the coach of the Carolina Gold Rush. We want everybody to stick around. Not only do we have the Florida Crocs and the Chicago Wind coming up, but in between the 2 matchups, we're going to be joined by the founder and commissioner of Major League Table Tennis, Flint Lane. I'm going to connect with Flint and get his perspective on the formation of the league and how things have developed. But Sean, first I want to get your final thoughts on what we just watched, particularly the Carolina Gold Rush. Enzo Anglais is the leader of the team, but he's not the only playmaker for the team by any means.
I mean, all these players have so much firepower, so much difference and diversity. We've got women playing. The doubles action is awesome. I'm just amazed at how hard they are fighting for their teammates in order to get as many points possible going into the next matches.
And we got Florida and Chicago coming up. Quick thought as we get ready to see the Crocs go for a 3-0 weekend against a Chicago team that got their first win yesterday.
I mean, the Crocs have the team spirit. They've got the Croc crunch out there after winning big matches. I love the individuals out there. I'm pulling for the Crocs.
Well, that's coming up about 10-15 minutes from now, but stick around because Flint Lane is going to join us here momentarily. Another memorable Major League Table Tennis showcase as the Carolina Gold Rush win it 17-4. But again, the final score does not begin to tell the story of all the close calls. Romain Lawrence with 3 straight 11-10 wins and a golden game that was probably just exactly what Flint Lane had in mind when he created the concept. An incredible afternoon and weekend here in the Sunshine State, and it is my privilege to welcome the founder and commissioner of Major League Table Tennis, Flint Lane, to our broadcast location. Flint, what has it felt like for you to watch the first weekend unfold here in Daytona Beach?
Evan, it's just been an amazing weekend. We started this league just 6 months ago, as you know, and everybody said we were moving too fast, but what we've done here is nothing short of miraculous, from the obviously excellent play all around, the broadcast, the stream, the coaching, the fan experience. It's certainly surpassed my expectations.
Let's set the record straight on the Golden Game. Who deserves credit for the idea? Is this your baby?
It's definitely a team effort. So we've got a great team at Major League Table Tennis. We cook up lots of ideas. I generally take credit for the good ones and blame everybody for the bad ones, but this one was definitely a good team idea.
What has the last 6 months been like since the league was founded in March, getting ready, gearing up, bringing aboard players, the draft, all the operations? I'm sure you could spend an hour and a half answering that question and still leave stuff out, but give us the highlights of the last 6 months.
Sure, yeah, I get asked that question quite a bit about how do you build a professional table tennis league, and frankly, I had no idea, but I have built software companies of quite some size, and the way you do it, and we have a saying at Major League Table Tennis, you do it brick by brick. So each day, you build a little bit, you build a little bit, you build a little bit, and you don't try to accomplish everything. This is a version 1.0 for us. We think this was amazing, but we also think we can do way better.
Here's a look at the timeline from the end of March. How long before March 29th did this idea percolate in your mind?
I started thinking about this in January. I had exited from a software company, and I was thinking about retiring. After a few weeks, it was clear to me that I wasn't going to be retiring, so I spent probably 60 days doing some research on different professional leagues, Major League Soccer. I talked to some people from the NBA, the NHL, but I also talked to a lot of people from table tennis. There were a lot of doubters on whether we could pull this off, and we use that as fuel to fire us in our journey for sure. But we're nowhere near accomplished. So we got a lot of work to do, and we're going to continue to build brick by brick.
Can you enlighten the fans of this league and viewers around the world where your passion for this sport comes from and why you love table tennis the way you do?
Yeah, absolutely. So I played table tennis my whole life recreationally. I played in college, I played at the software companies I worked at, and I was generally one of the better players. For my 45th birthday.
And you thought you were good?
Oh, I definitely thought I was good. For my 45th birthday, my wife bought me a lesson from three-time Olympian David Wong. So I show up at his house for this lesson with my little junky paddle. I'm like, let's play, I'm good. And he annihilates me. It's 11-0, 11-0, 11-0, and it wasn't that close. And I found out that there was a whole nother world. So I was playing ping pong, which is generally the casual basement game, and this game of table tennis is fascinating. So I've since now tried really hard to get better. I'm nowhere near this level and never will be, but I'm passionate about the game, and this country deserves more. Like, a little kid who plays table tennis can't dream of becoming a pro. Our best professionals have to go play overseas if they want to make a living, and that's unfortunate. We aim to change that.
Table tennis is the most popular sport in the most populous country in the world. In China, it is one of the top 7 or 8 most played sports in the world by any metric you look at, and studies that have been put together. And yet, you're right, table tennis has lacked a footing in the United States. What could this league mean for table tennis here in the U.S. and North America?
Oh, I think it's going to be a huge building brick for table tennis. There are a lot of independent clubs that are out there trying to do their thing. There's a college clubs league. They're trying to do their thing. But you need to have something that people can dream about getting into to want to stay with the sport. There are lots of professional leagues in the U.S. We've got, obviously, the Big Four, but then there's the UFC. We've got pillow fighting. We've got a tag league. We've got lacrosse. We've got ultimate frisbee, obviously. But nobody's actually ever tried professional table tennis. Meanwhile, there's professional table tennis in like a dozen other countries that have wonderful leagues. And it's amazing to me that nobody has tried it here in this league, in this country.
Do you believe in what this can be here in large part because of the success it has had in other countries?
I think that is an interesting model, but we're really not trying to replicate that. That is more of a clubs-based system. We're trying to be the NBA for table tennis. We are modeling ourselves after a pro sport that has success here in the U.S. So we have 8 teams. We are selling teams to owners. We are going to have streaming contracts. We hope to be on TV at some point. So we're building for a big possible opportunity. But again, it takes brick by brick.
The league begins with an idea, and eventually you need to recruit some of the best players in the world to be a part of it. And I know that's interesting because it starts with you trying to get players to believe, and then eventually you're overwhelmed with nearly 200 players applying for a draft of 64 spots. What was the process like of recruiting players and welcoming players from around the world to apply or to attend the combine and to try and participate at this high level?
Yeah, one of the first things I did was hire two Major League Table Tennis ambassadors, Damian Provost and Daniel Gonzalez. And they are well-known professionals throughout the world who know lots of top players. So I started talking to them about the idea. We evolved it a little bit. We talked about it a little bit more. And ultimately, we came to a conclusion of what we wanted to build. And then I said, okay, you need to get me some introductions to some players. So I just started having conversations with great players. Enzo Anglais was one of those players. And surprising to me, he was like, yeah, he was interested. And a lot of these players have played in leagues all over the world. It is really exciting for them to play in an American league, right? You know, and really try to prove they can do it here.
Now we're watching some footage from the combine. I mean, this must have been cool for you to see players come in and try to make their mark.
Yeah, so as you said, we had 180 players sign up for our draft from over 40 different countries. Only 64 were selected, so it was intense. We had two combines, one on the East Coast, one on the West Coast, and a lot of these players had never seen or played against other players who were signed up for the draft. So it was an interesting mix of styles from a bunch of different countries. As you know, we're a co-ed league, so both women and men were trying out for the league. Every team has to have at least one woman. One team actually has two women, and it's all based on rating, right? So depending on how good you are and how well you think the coach thinks you can play, that determined whether you were going to be drafted or not.
And we're just scratching the surface with what we're going to be. We're going to be out in Santa Cruz next week to see the West Division for the first time, and then basically 2 events a month, 1 per division as we head toward the spring. What are you most looking forward to seeing in this league as we progress and continue to grow and ascend and develop?
Yeah, so we've solved for a bunch of things. We've solved for a format. It's really exciting. We've solved for streaming. We've solved for a broadcast crew. And, you know, those things are all going to get incrementally better. There are things we need to continue to solve for. We need to continue to drive viewership. We need to drive fan engagement. We need to drive sponsors. You know, these are not things we set out to do in our version 1.0. But if you remember the first Apple iPhone, it really didn't do a ton. And if you look at it compared to now, you know, they iterate and we iterate. So we're not going to be happy until we continue to drive success in this sport. A lot more to come.
I can only imagine the volume of feedback that has been thrown at you over the past 48 hours. Has there been any particular praise or message that has stuck with you about what this means to the players, the coaches, the fans to have a professional table league in the USA?
Yeah, probably the nicest thing that somebody said to me was from your broadcast partner, Sean O'Neill, who I didn't know that well. I knew of him from the table tennis world, but I have not lived in the sort of pro table tennis world for a very long time. He said to me, this was the best thing to happen to table tennis in 25 years in this country, and that really felt good. Now, in terms of the comments coming back for the fans out there who are sending in notes and commenting on the YouTube stream, please keep it coming. You know, we are listening. You know, we get ideas that we know we're going to do, like somebody was asking for, hey, we need highlights. I'm like, yes, of course we need highlights, but we weren't able to get to it in advance of this week, and those will be coming. But we've got lots more stuff coming, but keep the ideas flowing too.
There are lots of ideas, and there's lots of good stuff ahead. Flint Lane, look forward to seeing you next week out in the Bay Area and seeing what we can do.
Thanks, Evan. Really appreciate it.
Thank you for bringing me aboard. This has been a blast. Chatting here with Flint Lane of Major League Table Tennis. We'll take a quick timeout as we get set for the Chicago Wind and the Florida Crocs to wrap up our 3-day weekend of the MLTT's debut here in Daytona Beach. What a golden game it was to wrap things up between the Gold Rush and the Revolution. Princeton battled back, but at the end, Jeremy Hazin able to outlast Angela Guan. Aggressive mindset got the W. So Carolina wins it 21-19 in the Golden Game, 17-4 overall. For Flint Lane, for Sean O'Neill, for Evan Lepler, we say so long, but don't go anywhere. Florida and Chicago coming up here shortly from the Ocean Center. Stay with us.